Welcome to another talk. Hello there. I'm just plugging this charger in before I get into it. Tablets needing charged. That's what I use in my talks. If you see my pictures that I take in my bedroom, you would have seen the Apple Mac computer, and this is an iPad tablet thing I'm using. But this talk is called What It Means If You Have 5D History with Him or Her. Well, it means that you'll interact in the 5D, that's what it means. That's why, you know, when unconscious ones, you know, go on about loyalty and romance, it's, you know, they're absolutely ridiculous, because that doesn't exist, because you're always going to think of other people in that romantic / sexual intimacy way, whether you want to or not, because you can be with a woman physically, but you're still going to dream of other people and think of other people in the 5D, or even 5D interactions. You know, you can literally be with someone physically, married, yet have a 5D connection with someone else. You see? So this idea of loyalty is just an ego stroke, really. You know, and, you know, this talk is all about what does it mean if you've got this kind of connection with someone in the spiritual realms. Well, it means that you're spiritually connected. It means that you had a connection with this individual before you were born, or even in multiple different times, and because there is no time in that world. But, you know, it means that you've got a 5D connection, which is more strong. That kind of connection, a physical connection on this reality cannot compare with a 5D connection, i.e. astral world, spiritual world connection. When you dream, you're entering into the spiritual worlds, or fantasize, or romantic, or anything like that. It's like that Eagle song when he says, I've got 7 women on my mind. You know, or 7 men if you're a woman. And India is one of the first countries to they now have group marriages. And I don't have to tell you what that is, you know what that is. A few months ago, I showed this diagram of an example. I found it on the internet. And this diagram was showing 3 twin flames for one soul, or 3 people, I should say, for one soul in one twin flame relationship. And it also showed soul groups, soul consciousness. So, and it's like when the Prime Minister of New Zealand said 25 people can have an orgy. And I thought to myself, that's the future, isn't it? That's what I keep talking about. You know, the thing that they're trying to stop is this the new earth is a romantic pathway. I'm not saying everyone's going to have orgies, but I'm talking in a spiritual sense. I'm not talking in a physical sense. And that's ultimately what the system is trying to prevent. That's why they're rushing all this stuff. You know, I'm not going to... There's certain things I can't say because the video won't be allowed. But that's what they're trying to stop. And ultimately you are in a group marriage because marriage actually means union, right? It's not nothing to do with a contract. It's to do with a union. It's a spiritual marriage. And in this world they make everything physical and they label it and everything, but that's the true meaning of marriage. It's a spiritual union. And twin flame is an example of that. But you've got in India now these group marriages, and what's happened is these people have come into union with their true self, their soul group, soul consciousness. And I think when we see energy orgasms and things of that nature, we're getting a little glimpse into the future in terms of this planet's ascension. Kundalini awakenings, twin flames, that kind of thing. So we're getting a little glimpse. And this, I believe, excuse me, is the reason why sex and stuff of that nature is demonized the way that it is. I think they're trying to keep people away from their true essence. Like Osho once said, sex is life force. You see? And they don't want you anywhere near that. They don't want you transmuting that energy. They don't want you in. But this is related to what I'm talking about. Because when you have 5D history with something, that's the connection that you've got. It's like you're one. And you're just like a twin flame example where you're split, the soul split in half. But it's the same, and that's why they got the connection. That's why when you have 5D connections with people, lovers I'm talking about, it's like this intimate connection, because ultimately you are this. It might not even be your twin flame, but it might be the same soul consciousness, because you've got soul consciousness, you've got soul groups. You see? And this stuff is all in the astral realms, the dream worlds, that. But that's what we're looking at in terms of the planet, the ascension path, the new earth, and where it's heading. I'm talking about things that might be well ahead of my time, but I'm getting little glimpses of it. In I get these awakenings that I get these new. I had an unexpected spiritual awakening 10 years ago, and ever since then I get new awakenings every other day. But that's where this is all going. That's why I don't talk about all the stuff they want you to talk about, because that's a distraction. That's why they're creating all this meta and all the other stuff. They're trying to create a synthetic version that isn't the same thing as this ascension awakening thing. It's a race against the awakening. That's what it is. And so if you do have 5D connections with someone romantically, if you notice they're coming into your awareness, pay attention to that, meditate upon it. Because there's a connection there from the astral realms. That's why they had the astral world thing, and it was a disaster. That's because the system, everything comes from the top down. Right? We don't want this planet going towards that side, what the astral world's like. The astral world, the rules there are different. There's ultimately no rules there. Everything is made up by people who are no more smarter than you. That's what Steve Jobs said. I got banned from Facebook for saying, follow your heart and intuition. Your heart and intuition. Obviously that tells you the kind of forces that we're dealing with. But these forces are terrified of sexual power and sexuality. I think it's that they don't want us to come into that power, our own power, because we'll return to the angels that we are. That's what they're frightened of. Like this, that's why I chose this photo. It's like, imagine this male is actually, they're both angels, but in the ascension, it's like one is like very awake, and that the point of that is to take the other one on that pathway, because we're all actually angels, but we have descended from heaven. And I believe heaven exists, and it's a very there's a lot of romance there. And that's what this world is wanting to stop. That's why they create reality foods and all the different things to stop you accessing, like there's videos on the internet, I've said this so many times, of women having energy orgasms. And energy orgasms is to do with ascension. It's nothing to do with a guy putting his hands just above her, and no, it's to do with them women. They have went through awakening paths. Just saw 11:11 there, but and it comes to that point. And so they created trauma and all this different stuff. Everything comes from the top to stop that. Now, whether you believe in reptilians or demons, there is something. There is a force not wanting that. But that's within the dream. Because everything at some point has to come from nothing. But within this nothing is a gratefulness, is a love force between divine feminine and divine masculine, which is the nothing. This electrifying love, sexual romance, and that's what is happening in the awakening. So when you have 5D romantic connections with someone, spiritual romantic connections with someone, telepathic sexual romantic connections with someone, that is basically the source of what we are and what we come from. You see? The nothing has to be like the sexual energy to produce life. That is the life force. So it means that this sexual power already exists within the nothingness. The Shakti and Shiva are already one before you even think about it, because there's no time, you see. There's no beginning and end. It's amazing, I get so much out on these talks in 15 minutes. If you notice, I don't normally do more than 15 minutes. That's because the internet is really bad. So it can take me a day or two, to upload. But so yeah, that's what it is because the source of all life is a romantic force. There's even pictures, you can find it on the internet, of orgasmic energies in space, and it mating with itself, or with other energies that it's mating with. So that's what it means if you've got this spiritual romantic connection with someone. It doesn't have to be a twin flame, it can be a soulmate, it can be a kindred spirit thing. And ultimately, all these different soulmates are part of the same soul consciousness. So ultimately, in the spiritual worlds, they're all partners. I mean, that's like impossible to, that's against the rules in this reality. But I actually believe that that's the way it is. Based on the awakenings that I get, the downloads that I get. I believe that in that realms, everything truly is romance and love. And yeah, I just receive the awakenings and I just pass it on. A bit like a journalist, really. They're looking at what's happening, or a news reporter, they get the news and then they just, reveal it. So that's that, and I'm just going to leave that talk there. For latest updates, talks, news, research, and songs as well. I sing songs, I write songs as well, and put it on my website as well. I've got a good collection on Instagram too. Instagram is Sean Taylor 1, Twitter is Sean Taylor 1. I've been deleted from Facebook for about a year. So just Instagram and Twitter, And I've got my own website, which is www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you.